recording is on.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to LisaBug Yoga. Today we are doing more of a flow practice, so it will be a little bit more vibrant and moving as our theme of the month is finding strength. We'll also be trying an arm balance today. Now I know not all of us are at the level where we'll be able to fully do an arm balance, but we'll work just a little bit on the ever so elusive crow pose. So what I have today is a chair. We'll be moving through Sun Salutation B, Surya Namaskara B. And with Surya Namaskara B, there's a lot of half series vinyasas. So if your arms, shoulders, wrists get tired, problematic, you can use the chair for your half series vinyasa, and I'll demonstrate how to do that for you. Also, you might need a yoga block and a strap as we get ready to move today. So I'll face you with my mat long ways, but if you've got your mat going this direction, you'll just come to the top of your mat and face me for a moment and find a nice, strong mountain pose. So our Surya Namaskara is our sun salutation, and there's a flow of movements that are involved. And in Sun Salutation B, we have a chair pose and a variation of many styles of Warrior One. So we'll be strengthening those legs today. So let's just start with a nice breath in. Press the palms above your head. And as you sink your thumbs into your heart, start to sit into chair. Ooh, and that first one, I noticed some tightness in my ankles. So let's start to just flow through that with the breath and notice what you're feeling in your body on these first few chair poses. And our goal is, as we start to warm up these joints that are involved here in chair, we'll feel maybe less of a sensation of being tight and sore and tense in those areas, and feeling a little bit more flexible and open through those joints. Now let's reverse the circle of the arms so they come up, around behind you, and sit into your chair. Now a lot of yoga flow is linking the movements together, but also linking the breath with the movement of the body. And typically in yoga, we inhale when our body is open, and we exhale when it closes. Now there are some instances where we do the reverse of that, but for the most part, when your body is lengthening, we have the space in the lungs to take in a nice deep breath. And then as our body is folding in, we decrease the space into the lungs. So it's a great time to exhale the breath out. Let's do one more. And then hold your chair pose and find your good alignment. Now I have my feet tight together, but you can also come to hips distance apart as long as this remains tracking really nicely. So we don't want to have our feet hips distance apart, but our knees come together or bow out a little wider. So a nice alignment here. Let's take one more breath. And then we'll inhale, circle sweep the arms up. Exhale into half forward fold. So as we come down, the fingertips find the shins. I'll turn side for you, and we have a nice long spine. The knees are bent any amount you need here. And then we'll flow through these two positions. Inhale, come up. Exhale to half forward fold. And notice the sensations you're feeling in your body. If you're really tight today in your hamstrings and your lower back, you might have quite a bit of a knee bend here in your half forward fold. If you're feeling more open in the hamstrings, in those joints, then maybe a straighter legs as you come into half lift. We'll take 3 more breaths. And as you go, feel those muscles lengthening and loosening up each time. 2 more. And 1 more. And then hold your half lift, or if you're feeling you want to go deeper, sink down a little bit closer towards the floor into forward bend. And just check in, is this okay for your body today? So I have the chair as an option where you can always place the hands right on top of the chair for your half lift or for your forward fold. So if you like that, I want you to have your chair right in front of you and make sure that it's secure on your mat so that it doesn't slide forward. And we are going to combine our chair pose and our forward fold. So inhale, rise up. Exhale, sit into chair. Anything you like to do with your arms here. Inhale back up. Exhale either into half lift or all the way down into your forward fold. We'll do that 3 more times. Soften your knees as you rise up. Inhale. Exhale, chair pose. Maybe choose different arms. Inhale up. Exhale, forward fold. 2 more. And notice we're inhaling when our body is open. Exhaling when it's closing in. Inhaling when it's open. Exhaling when we're folding. 1 more time. And we are really warming up through the shoulders, through the hips, through the knees, the ankles, and through the spine. Now let's hold your forward fold right here. Hands can either be on the floor, on your shins, or up on your chair. And we'll step the right foot back. Turn your foot out just a tiny bit and rise up into a short stance warrior 1. So I have my hips really squared towards that top edge of my mat. Arms can be lifted in that traditional warrior. And then notice where you're feeling sensations in your body here. I'm getting a little bit of a stretch in my back calf and some strengthening in my front leg. And then we'll bring our hands back down to the floor or to the chair and step that back foot forward. Inhale, circle sweep, come all the way up. Exhale, chair pose. Inhale up. Exhale, forward fold. Either hands come to the floor, the shins, or to your chair. And step your left foot back into that short stance warrior 1 and come up. So ideally we have a nice bend in this front knee, but it's not really deep. The knee is directly over the ankle and our back leg is really straight. You can even squeeze the muscles in that back leg, hugging the quadricep around the bone, squeezing the glute muscles, and then feeling your abdominals really engaged here and your shoulder blades nicely down your back. Take 1 more breath in our warrior 1. And then as you exhale, reach back down to the floor or to the chair. Step forward into your forward bend. Inhale, we rise up. Exhale, chair pose. Inhale, coming up. Exhale into forward fold. And hold here. So we'll step that right foot back into our warrior 1. Coming all the way up just for a brief breath and learning our half series vinyasa. So if you know the half series, I want you to go ahead and go at home right into it. If you're learning it with me, I'm going to show it to you on the chair first. So we bring the hands to the chair and we step the front foot back into a downward facing dog. It's a nice option here using the chair. There's not as much pressure on your hands or wrists. Or you're on the floor in that downward facing dog. Then on an inhale, we come forward to plank. So I have a plank with my hands right on the chair. They're right underneath my shoulders. We can hold here or let the hips drop and come into a little bit of a spinal extension. This is our up dog on the chair. And then press the hips back up into your down dog. We'll take the right leg and lift it up behind. Then take a step forward towards the top of your mat and come into warrior 1 here. Just holding for 1 breath. Reach the hands back to the chair. We'll go back to our down dog again, or hands on the floor. You're going into down dog. Holding, pressing your heels into the mat, opening through the shoulder blades and the armpits. Inhale, glide forward to plank. Now, if you're down onto the mat, you can be from the knees or toes. We can lower down by bending your elbows a little bit, chaturanga. Extend up into your up dog on the chair or on the floor, or maybe just a baby cobra today. And then press yourself back to your down dog. Stretch and breathe. Then we'll inhale to lift the left leg up. Exhale, step forward. And then your right foot follows. Come into forward bend. Then we'll soften the knees. Inhale, sweep all the way up. Press the palms together and relax. So that's just a nice brief introduction of doing our Surya Namaskar B using the chair. So that is there for you. I'm going to go ahead and move mine a little bit further away so I can demonstrate the next round without the chair. So let's come to the top of the mat. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, chair pose. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, swan dive into forward fold. Now we can also add a half lift here. So on an in-breath, come halfway up. Exhale, fold, and then walk or jump your feet back behind you into downward facing dog. Hold and breathe. If you need some time to pedal out your feet here, you can do this as well. Really stretch. And then let's take one option here of our half series vinyasa. Our level 1 option will glide forward into plank and then set the knees down. And then bend our elbows, lower all the way down to the floor with our chaturanga. Once we reach the floor, just gently contract the muscles of the spine and lift up into a baby cobra here, working that back muscles. Legs are nice and active. Then press through the palms of the hands. We can come back to child's pose if you need a break for the wrists, or tuck the toes, lift the hips up into down dog. Then we'll lift our right leg up, take a nice step forward into warrior 1. Plant that left foot down, rise all the way up and breathe. Just one breath here, inhale. Exhale, the hands find the mat. Push back to your down dog. Get nice, good alignment of the spine. If you're using the chair, you have the hands there at the moment. We'll glide forward to our plank pose. Kneeling option, the knees come down, the elbows hug the spine or the ribs as we lower down into our modified chaturanga. Then lengthen that spine up into a baby cobra. Feel your back muscles really working. Keep the back of your neck nice and long. Fire the muscles in your legs. Then push back up from the knees. You can take a child's pose here, or tuck the toes, lift the hips, downward dog. Breathe, breathe. Spread those fingers wide. And inhale, lift that left leg up. Exhale, step forward, short stance, warrior 1. Now remember, you can always use your chair for this transition. One breath. And then as you exhale, place the hands back to the mat. Push back to one more downward facing dog. And one more half series vinyasa. Glide forward. From the knees this first time, lower down. Extend the spine into baby cobra. And press back to child's pose or down dog. Hold and breathe. Feel the body temperature rising. Then gazing towards the top of your mat, either walk or jump your feet all the way up between the hands, forward bend. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale and fold. Soften those knees, inhale, come all the way up. And then press your palms at heart center. We'll flow through our sun salutation B one more time with an increased option of intensity. So we'll be doing our high plank and our upward facing dog. Now there's 3 half series vinyasas in each one of our sun salutation B's. So take the versions that you need today. Let's inhale, sweep up. Exhale, chair pose. Inhale, rise. Exhale, swan dive, forward bend. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold and step or jump feet back into high plank. So this version, we can stay off the knees, lower down into our chaturanga, extend into upward facing dog. So the thighs are really engaged. Nice long spine. Lift those hips, tuck the toes, down dog. I'm hoping that you took the kneeling option that worked best for you, or the chair option. We'll lift our right leg high. Step it all the way between the hands, rising up into warrior one. Square the hips, one breath. Exhale, hands come back to the mat. We push back to our down dog, or we can go into three-legged dog. That leg can come up nice and high if you'd like. We can lower it down, finding our high plank. Glide forward, lower down, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog, or taking your baby cobra. Exhale, back into our down dog. Or child's pose if you need a breather. Inhale your left leg up. Exhale, step it towards your hands, plant the back foot. Warrior one. One breath. Exhale, hands find the mat or the chair. Pressing back to down dog or three-legged dog. That leg can come up. And then we can lower the leg. Inhale, glide forward to plank. From the knees or toes, lower down, chaturanga. Taking your baby cobra or upward facing dog. And one more down dog or child's pose. And then to complete our sun salutation, we gaze to the top of our mat, bend the knees, step or jump, feet come up. Inhale to half lift. Exhale, forward bend. Inhale, reverse swan dive, coming all the way up. Press the palms and exhale. Ooh, how did we do? I hope that you found an option for you, either using the chair, the knees, or toes for your sun salutation B. Okay, we're going to flow through it one more time, but working on our warrior one. So instead of taking one breath there, we're going to work on that warrior one pose with some options. So let's inhale, sweep up. Exhale, chair. Find a really good chair pose, nice and strong through those legs. Inhale, rise back up. Exhale, swan dive into forward fold. Hands can come on your chair if you need. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, step or jump back to your down dog or to a plank. From the knees or toes, lower down, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhale, back into your downward facing dog. Let's hold here. So if your hands are on the chair, just open up those shoulder blades, release that pressure off of your wrists. And let's inhale the right leg up. Take a nice step forward into your warrior one. And we'll rise here and hold. And then let's just bring the hands to the hips for a moment so we can relax the shoulders and feel the foundation of our warrior one. So again, a nice deep knee bend in that right knee. We have the left leg straight. Let's bring the hands behind our back into a chest expansion. We'll open up through the fronts of the shoulders. You can also use your yoga strap to hold behind you. So a variation of our warrior one is known as humble warrior. So if you prefer not to bend forward, you can stay upright as you are. Or we can start to curve the back a little bit as we fold forward, bringing the shoulder down towards the right knee, relaxing the head and neck, and letting those arms lift up nicely away from the back body. A beautiful chest expansion. And feel all that work in your front leg. It's engaged and braced. Back arch is lifted away from the floor. We'll take one more breath. And as you exhale, push down into that front foot. Push, push to rise back up. Release the hands and stretch them up. Beautiful. 2 more breaths here. You can also bring hands right at heart center. 1 more breath. Now we'll flow through our half series vinyasa, but if you've done enough of that flow and you just want to step forward into forward bend, you can skip the half series. So we'll inhale, sweep the arms out and up. Exhale, hands find the mat. Push back to downward facing dog. And flow through your half series, the one that suits your body the best. Coming into plank. Option to lower the knees down, chaturanga. Option to come up into your cobra or upward facing dog. And then pressing back into down dog. If you need a breather, child's pose is there for you at any time you need to take it. Now the left leg lifts nice and high. We step it forward towards the top of the mat. Now sometimes our foot only makes it right about here. We're like, what do I do now? So you can actually take your foot in your hand and step it forward. Give yourself a little helping hand. And then plant the back foot. We'll come up into our warrior one. And then bringing the hands behind the back, we'll come into a chest expansion. Now notice when you clasp your hands, we typically always do it the same way, right? We're creatures of habit. So if you have your hands back there, notice which thumb is on top, and I want you to switch the thumb and then switch your fingers. And this is going to feel a little odd, but I want you to clasp your hands in that opposite way. So you can stay up and really lift those arms back or use your yoga strap, or we can bow into humble warrior here. Curving forward, our shoulder comes down to the knee, the head relaxes. Keep lifting the arms. We feel the strength in that front leg. And try to keep the back arch lifted, because sometimes in this position we roll to our inner part of our foot and we collapse the arch. So keep pressing into the outside edge of your right foot. 1 more breath. And as you exhale, push down into that front leg. Push, push, push as you come up. Release the clasp of the hands. Arms can rise up, or we can press hands at heart center. Now we have 1 more half series vinyasa, but again, if you choose not to take it, you can step forward into forward bend and hold that stretch. So we'll inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, hands find the mat or the chair, press back to down dog. 1 final round. Inhale, glide forward to plank. Knees or toes, chaturanga. Inhale, baby cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, back to down dog. Then gazing towards the top of your mat, bend your knees, either step or jump. Feet come up. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, circle sweep the arms out and up. Maybe a baby back bend here. Press the palms at heart center into our samastitihi. Equal tension, balanced tension from the front of the body to the back, from the right to the left side, from the top to the bottom. Close your eyes for just a couple of breaths and notice how you're feeling. Are your wrists okay with all of that work that we did on the hands? How about your shoulders, your lower back, your knees, your hips? And 1 more breath here. And then as you exhale, let your arms find the sides of your body. So we're going to take a nice deep stretch for the hamstring, and you can use your chair for pyramid pose. You can also use a block, or you might be able to bring your hands right down to the mat. So I'm going to use my chair first. So stepping the right foot forward, the left foot is behind you almost completely straight ahead. You can slightly turn it out. This is just a staggered position of your feet. Hips are squared. Inhale, bring the arms up. Exhale, keep your back straight as you bring your hands down. Now, if I can bring my hands to the floor pretty comfortably, then I can go lower. If I'm feeling a really deep stretch here through the hamstring, then that's where I'm going to stay, is hands on the chair. So to go lower, I can bring my hands to my block. And your block has 3 heights. So you can be high, you can take it to medium, you can bring your hands to the lowest portion on the block, or we can bring the hands to the mat. So lots of options, and you choose the one that gives you the best lengthening in the back of that front leg. So it doesn't have to be really low to get that. What we want to have is a nice neutral spine and not to be hunching and rounding our back. We feel like if we can bring our face down further, then we've accomplished more. But that might just mean that you rounded your back. And we want to feel this lengthening here, that hamstring area. So let's take 5 more breaths to give us a good solid 60 seconds or so holding in our pyramid. And then also notice if your hips are level. Sometimes when we step a foot forward, our hips will shift. So line those right back up. And it should feel like you're dragging your right hip back and your left hip forward. 2 more breaths. And 1 more breath. And then to come out of the pose, soften that front knee to put a little bit of a bend in it. And then reach your arms all the way up, standing nice and tall. Press the palms, and then we'll step the back foot forward. Back to our nice balanced position. And just pause for a moment and check in. Notice how you're feeling here, one side to the other. And then we'll prepare to do the other side. So now your left foot will be in front. We'll just stagger that position. So I'm not stepping back a whole lot. Back foot is pretty parallel, maybe a slight turnout if it helps you with balance. Inhale, sweep the arms up. With a nice flat back, neutral spine, come forward. See on this side if the chair is the best option for you. We want to get that front leg pretty straight, maybe just a micro bend in the knee, but if you're really tight, you might need to bend it even more. If you're okay here on the chair, we can move down to the block in all of its 3 heights, 3 variations, or hands can find the mat. And then just check in on this side. We want to be able to hold and breathe without tension or stress, without shaking or quivering of the muscles, without tensing of the muscles. So just relax here and breathe. Want to be here at least 60 seconds to find a nice flexibility for this left side. Check your hips and make sure they're not swiveled. We want to have them nice and squared and the pelvis really neutral here. And then also scoop up your lower belly towards your spine just a little bit to engage the abdominal muscles to brace the lower back. Let's take 3 more breaths. See if you can sink it, maybe even a little deeper down. One more breath. And then to exit the pose, start to bend your front knee and rise back up. Reach. Press the palms at your heart and step the back foot forward. So now we are going to take that same movement and make it into a balanced pose. Using the chair might be a nice option for you. So left foot steps back so your right foot is in front. Small staggered stance. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, Hands can come to the chair, to a block, or to the floor. So now we're going to slide forward with the body weight until that back foot lifts off the mat, so we come into Warrior 3. And the chair's a really nice prop to use, but you've also got your block there. You can hold on here. Or if you're feeling like your balance is pretty good today, you can let go of any props and hold this nice balance pose. Now your arms are just an accessory. They can be at your heart, they can be behind you, out to the side, in front, or lightly resting a finger or two onto your prop just for a little bit of balance. And same thing here, we check our pelvis and make sure it's level so it's not rotating up or down or twisting right to left. Very neutral. And feel lengthening in the back of that right leg and strengthening here. We'll take 2 more breaths. Neutral spine, 1 more breath. And then bending that front knee just a little, set your foot back down behind you and shift into pyramid, straightening that front leg. 1 breath here to stretch. Exhale. Rebend the front knee and rise up to your short position, Warrior 1. Press the palms. Step the back foot forward and just observe. So one of your roles as a yoga practitioner is to be an observer. When you are performing these poses, really observe what's happening in your body. Observe your teacher. Observe yourself, observe the pose, observe the breath. So let's switch. Now the right foot steps back, left foot's in front. We have that staggered position. Inhale, sweep the arms out and up. Exhale, lengthen the spine until the hands find the chair or the block. And we'll shift our body weight forward into that front foot and pick the back leg up off the floor. Now this back leg should be really active, so it's not just hanging there loosey-goosey. Straighten it out and flex your foot and push into your heel like you're going to step your foot on the wall behind you. You can come down to a different prop if that suits you, or let go all together and find this beautiful balanced pose. Now your core is really working here, so I want you to feel the abdominals pulling in and up. If we have a loose core and we're not engaged, we're not going to be able to balance as well. So activate those internal muscles, the transverse abdominis, the obliques, everything's firing, your erector spinae, those back muscles. Let's take 1 more breath here. And then as you exhale, start to bend that front knee a little bit, stepping back onto the back foot behind you, rising up. And then we'll take 1 pyramid, coming forward, the leg is straight, stretching the back of that leg 1 more time. Inhale. Exhale completely. Rebend that front knee to rise up. Press the palms at your heart and step the back foot forward. Recheck in. Notice if your body is back to equilibrium. If you feel pretty balanced in your right and left sides. Now we'll step back from our mat, from our chair just a bit more towards the center of the mat. Take a nice breath in. Exhale, swan dive down into forward bend. And then drop down to your hands and to your knees. Take a child's pose here. Just relax the forehead down to the mat. Take any version of child's pose that you like. So the arms can be extended out long. Your hips can be close to your heels or slightly lifted away. The knees can be together or wide. The arms can be beside the sides of your body. So we're just going to practice strengthening our body in preparation for an arm balance. And again, not everybody's going to be able to get there, but we can build strength in our shoulders, our upper body, and in our arms. Now, oftentimes the hardest thing about doing an arm balance is the pressure onto your wrists. So sometimes if you have a blanket here or a towel, if you can slightly have the heel of your hand higher than the fingertips, this is going to take less of pressure into your wrist. So I'm not bending my wrist as much. So it's like putting your hands on a little bit of a wedge. So if you've got that as an option, I want you to take it. And then we're going to tuck our toes and walk our feet wide and place our knees right on the outside of our upper arms. I'm on the balls of my feet, and I just want you to practice rocking forward and rocking back. Now, if you have really tender wrists, you're not going to rock forward very far, because as I come forward, I'm increasing the pressure on my wrists. As I'm rocking back, I'm relieving that pressure. If this doesn't feel okay for you, your knees come down to the floor so you don't have as much body weight, and you're going to rock forward and rock back. Now we want to have a really nice engagement of our shoulders here. So try not to slump. We're pressed up, nice and strong. So either in a squat or on your knees, rock forward and back twice more. And one more. And then if you're up in your squat, come back to your knees like you're going to come into child's pose, but I want you to turn your hands the other way to stretch your wrists in reverse. So my palms are up, my fingertips are pointing toward my knees, and I'm just holding a little bit of a stretch here. So for today, that might be all you want to do for your arm balance. And you can try that again as we move forward into another attempt to maybe pick one foot up off the floor. So we bring our hands back to the front. You can be on that little bit of a wedge. Step back up to your feet. Bring your knees to the outsides of your elbows. And I'm bending my elbows a little bit here, so I'm taking the weight into my triceps. And as you start to lean forward, try to pick the right foot up off the floor. Set it down and bring your weight back off your hands. Come forward, lift your left foot up off the floor, set it down, and come back off of your hands. So if that's not okay, remember you're here from your knees, just coming forward and back. Now if you're doing pretty good with lifting one foot up off the floor, you might be able to try both. So you're going to come forward, lift one foot up, and maybe the other one will come up. Maybe not. And then we come back down. We're just going to try one more time. So the body's got to come forward. That's the most important part. One foot lifts, and maybe the other. And feet come back down. And let's rest, taking a child's pose or stretching our wrists in reverse. You choose. Good. Oh gosh, I wish I could be a little fly on the wall in your house to see how you did. You're probably saying, no you don't. But this is a good start to trying to learn an arm balance. And you don't have to have an arm balance in your yoga practice, no big deal. But it does build the strength of your upper body and your arms and your wrists and your forearms. So it's nice to just go through the process sometimes. Okay, let's come to a seated position with your yoga strap. All right, we're going to come through a nice series of flexibility exercises. So the right knee is bent. The left leg is extended out straight. So I'm in my seated tree pose. Now, if this knee is way up here, then you might need a little bit of a block underneath your knee to support. That might feel better for you. If it's okay just to let it hang there, that's fine as well. Using your yoga strap, let's take a nice big inhale, reach, and then bring it right under the bottom of the foot to pull the toes up toward you. Now, you might be feeling really tight today in your hamstrings, and I want to show you a little bit of a trick if you're really tight and this isn't working. You can take your block and bring it underneath the upper part of your leg just before your knee starts to bend, and that's going to give my knee an option to bend on the other side. And then I can take that yoga strap and reach, and I can stretch here. Now you could also do this without the yoga strap. You could just have your knee bent, but I can't relax as much if I don't have some support here. So this is just a trick and an option for you if you're really tight in your hamstrings. Some of you might be, well, I can do it without the yoga strap and I can go really low. So another trick with your block, if you really have a lot of flexibility, you can bring your block and add length to your leg by placing it over there, and then you can reach forward and grab your block. This will help you to keep your foot flexed and take your stretch here. So let's just hold and breathe wherever you are today. Noticing the sensations that you're feeling. It's a beautiful hamstring stretch. It's a wonderful hip opener. And you should be feeling a little bit more elongated in those hamstrings because of the pyramid pose we did today, because of the warrior three. So you might surprise yourself how low you're coming down today. But be accepting of wherever you are in your own body. All right, so let's release your strap or your block and come back up. You're still in this position here, but just close your knee in. Now we're going to do a twist, and your foot can either stay on the same side that it's on now, or you can cross it to the other side of your left leg. Let's hug this knee in toward you. You can wrap it around, or you can bring the elbow across and twist to your right side. And really lengthen the spine upward as you twist. Take 3 nice deep breaths. And 2 more. Find more length and a little bit more rotation. And 1 more breath. And then coming back out of that twist. So now we'll stretch the IT band. So this leg that's bent, that's on the top, the right one, is going to tuck underneath the other leg. So now I definitely have some bend in this left knee. And what I want you to do is bend it quite a bit. Your right hand is going to reach across and grab the outside of your left foot. So the test is to see if you can lift this leg up and straighten it out completely. If that's not doable for you because of hamstring restriction, then you take your yoga strap, loop it under the bottom of that left foot, and straighten it. So now it's like, okay, I can let my strap out as long as I need to get this leg straight. Now we're going to pull the leg across the body. So we're feeling the stretch in the IT band, and then twist our upper body the opposite way. So I'm bringing the left leg across to the right and my left hand behind me. And just hold here and breathe. Now again, try not to slump the spine so we can be down and all small. I want you to lift up and be tall. Notice where you're feeling this stretch for you. And look way over the shoulders so you get a nice neck rotation. 1 more breath. And then bring your spine back to neutral. Rebend that knee, setting the foot down. Okay, 3 stretches we have on the opposite side. So the right foot comes out from under and straightens. The left foot comes to the inner thigh. We have our seated tree. So you've got a lot of tricks to work with here. You have a yoga strap to work with. You have potentially a block that can go underneath your thigh to bend your knee a little bit for you, or that can go on the opposing side of your foot to create more length. So choose where you are today And let's hold. So you could maybe be very different from one side to the other. Maybe you used your block on one leg and you need to use your yoga strap on the other. So it's all about being an observer. And it's not about having competition. And I think that hopefully any competition that might have been in our classes is not in your life right now in your yoga practice at home, because there's nobody to look around and say, well, she's doing it like that and mine doesn't look like that. So we should never have those thoughts when we're practicing yoga together as a community, because we are all given the body we've been given, and we need to be accepting of the body that we have today. And that's sometimes hard. And as I'm aging, I'm finding that that's hard, because I know that what my body used to be able to do, and sometimes I'm hard on myself when it's not able to do those things anymore. All right, let's take one more breath here. And exhale, release your props, and come up. This outside knee closes in. We can keep it right here for our twist, or we can place it across, you choose. And then we'll hug the knee in or bring the elbow across and really lengthen the spine as you rotate the body, gazing over that left shoulder. Now, it's really important that we never overly crank our twists. Sometimes they feel so good that we think, oh, if this much is good, it should be better to go further. But that's not always the case, because I don't want you to wrench anything in your spine. Your discs are very important. The muscles in your back are very important. So take it easy. Make it feel comfortable and relaxing for you. One more breath. And exhale back to center. Now this left leg that's on top will tuck underneath the right leg. So you're going to really bend this right leg a lot to begin. Left hand reaches to the outside of your foot. Do a little test. If you can straighten your leg, you're good to go. If you can't, then your yoga strap is your friend today. So you're going to wrap it around. You're holding it with the opposite hand. We bring it across, and then we turn our body the opposite direction. Now really notice what your spine is doing here. So we want to have it up, up, up. So imagine there's a little string attached to both the crown of your head and to your sternum, and those are lifting straight up towards the ceiling. We're not slouching through our back, and we're using this left hand to really pull the right leg across to get that stretch into the iliotibial band, and looking over that right shoulder as far as you can to get a nice neck stretch, neck release. One more breath. And bring the head back to center, bring that leg back to center, rebend the knee, and align the spine to neutral. So I'm going to give you two choices on your next stretch, next pose, depending on what your body needs today. So between either Baddha Konasana, bent knees, open, or straddle stretch, wide leg position. So both of them open the legs to get you some inner thigh release. Both of them should stretch through your lower back a bit. With your knees bent, you're going to feel this more in your hips. With the legs straight, more in your hamstrings. So either one, lengthen the spine and fold forward. So stretching to your range of motion here. Just about 90 seconds holding that stretch. And if you prefer doing both of them, you could maybe hold one for 5 or so breaths, and then come into the other one and hold for the remainder of the pose. We have 1 minute to go. And begin to be an observer in your body an observer of your breath where it's moving. Observe which muscles are tight for you today. And be an observer and notice if you're feeling any pain, because that's most important, that if you're feeling pain in a stretch, you're going to come out of it. And that's okay. Give yourself permission to do that. And then maybe you come in with a little bit less of range of motion. Just about 30 seconds to go. If you're feeling pretty good, maybe you can take it a little deeper for those last few breaths. Slowing down that breath, in and out through the nose. And then when you feel ready, align your spine back to neutral and just find a comfortable seat. So for you, that might be cross-leg pose. Maybe you have your legs out in front of you. Maybe you're sitting in a chair. Either way is fine. Grab a hold of your yoga strap for cow face arms. So we'll take this strap into your right hand, bring it up, and send it behind your back. Now maybe you don't have a strap, and that's okay. You're just going to bend your elbow back. And we're going to assist the stretch a little bit with your left hand. So give it a pull back so you have a nice range of motion here in this tricep. Make sure your head is up, not forward. And then the opposite hand is going to rotate the thumb down, reach behind you, and find the other portion of your yoga strap there. And then start to inch your fingers as closely as you can together and hold this stretch. So we are going to stretch in the opposite direction of the up elbow. So in this case, it's over to the left and take a little bit of a side bend, which will increase that stretch into the lat and into the tricep. You also feel your core slightly engaged here in our side bend. And one more breath. And come all the way up. Release the bottom arm first. So sometimes if we release the top arm, we can strain this shoulder. And it's in a little bit of a compromised position when it's behind your back. So we want to be really careful with it. So, sometimes those of you that are dancers with me know what I'm talking about. When we do the lead, we'll put the follower's arm behind their back. It's a beautiful way to do a dance move, but we have to be really careful when we go back behind the back with the shoulder. Okay, let's take that strap into the left hand. We'll bring it up, drape it behind your back. Ooh, this one feels tight and sore. Must have been some strength training I did on Tuesday. So notice what you're feeling and just go to whatever range of motion is okay for you. And then bring that right arm, turn your palm down first and have your arm pretty low. We don't want to reach it behind us way up here. That's where we stretch that shoulder, strain the shoulder. And walk your fingertips as closely as you can together. Once you have a good stretch, then side tip over towards the right and really open up the left lat, the left tricep. Breathe and brace your spine with a nice strong core. Now when I'm side bending, you want to make sure that you're still pressing into the sitting bone of the other side. So we can go farther if I lift my glute up off the floor, but try to keep your hips stable and just stretch through your spine, not rocking onto one hip. Let's take one more breath. And then bring it up. When we release the strap, the bottom arm releases first. We bring it down and around. And then release that top arm and relax your strap. Palms are up. Eyes are closed. Be an observer And notice what you're feeling in your body today. And as we close our practice, it's nice to go back and reflect on some of the things we worked on today, on some of the things that we observed about ourselves, about some things that maybe our body needs more of, or things that maybe are not appropriate for us today in our journey, in our yoga practice. And those are all good. Just open yourself to learning and observing and understanding those things about you and about your practice today. Let's take a big inhale and nice breath together. Sweep the arms out and up, pressing the palms in an Anjali Mudra. The thumbs connect with the sternum and the heart. The chin bows down, maybe touching that top finger. And we take this moment to reflect, to express our gratitude and honor. And it is my honor to guide you through your practice today, and I am so grateful for each and every one of you. And that light and joy and peace that resides within me honors the light, joy, and peace in each of you. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me, everyone. I'll have this up on YouTube for you to repeat anytime you'd like, especially next week when I'm not running my LisaBug classes. And I hope that you join me tomorrow for Aging Strong at 10:30. Mwah. Love you guys. Have a wonderful day. Take care.